Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are taking a look at Marine Worlds, an expansion for Ark Nova. So this has been a highly anticipated expansion. It's bringing in aquatic animals to Ark Nova. Essentially, you can have aquariums in your zoo, but it also adds some various other things. And there's also some cards and parts of the game that are meant to be replaced with products that are here. So I'm going to break it all down for you and just show you what all of these components are doing that you will find in this expansion. Here we have the core of the expansion, and that's really the sea animals, or the aquatic animals that they are adding to this expansion. So we have a single base conservation project for sea animals. Then we have some new end game scoring, so the brown back cards here. And not all these have to do with sea animals, as you can see, but you're also noticing two kind of new symbols that they're being added to the game because they've added an additional continent and an additional animal type. So they had to upgrade those. For example, here is the full symbol for any continent, basically. So there's some of those. Then we have a whole bunch of animals here. So you can see a fair amount of new animals being added to the deck, and not all of them are even going to be sea animals. So I'm not exactly sure why they added these, but it's just a decent mixture of all of the other guys. And now we start seeing this octopus symbol here. That's going to be all of our sea animals. So these are all the ones that are, brand new, added to the game, and you're seeing that most of these come with this symbol here. We'll take a look at the aquarium pieces here in just a minute. But like, this little guy doesn't even take up a space. So there we go. And some of them take up huge amounts of space, like 4 in the coastal manta ray. So while we're here, there is one other part of these cards that I want to show off, and this is the wave symbol. Actually, 2 parts. This is the wave symbol here. This is going to be on all of these cards. You'll notice it's not on this one, but anything that lives in an aquarium, that lives in the sea, is going to have this wave symbol on it. Anytime this wave symbol comes out into the the market row, essentially, you're going to then push it. It's going to create a wave and push even further in. So you will take off the lowest or the oldest card, the one on folder 1. You're going to go ahead and discard that one, push everything down again, and reveal the next card. If it happens to be another wave card, you're just going to continue doing the same thing. It's like creating a wave. What this is doing is essentially helping out with one of the biggest gripes of the original game, was that there were so many unique cards, and oftentimes if you were looking for a specific card, it was very hard to get through that huge deck and find what you were looking for, the type of animal you were looking for. So this one actually is going to help you get through your deck faster by pushing that market row on and on and on every time they come out. The next symbol on the card that's on both of these cards here that I want to point out is the reef symbol, or the Reef Dwellers here are represented by this red reef symbol that sits behind essentially a bonus action. So anytime you play a Reef Dweller down, you're going to gain the action that's listed here above the red coral reef symbol. So this symbol happens to be called Digging 1. So you'll notice that this down here it's explained. And so that's why this reef, again, symbol is next to this description. Here, this is called Extra Shift. That's just the name of that action here. Anytime you play a Reef Dweller, you're going to gain that bonus and the bonus of any other Reef Dweller you've played before. So if you played the blue spotted ribbon-tail ray, you would be able to dig up 1 card. And then if you played the humphead race here, you'd get an extra shift ability and be able to do digging up 1. Not all of these cards, though, let me see if I can find one here, has the red reef symbol down here. For example, this one is essentially going to give you just 1 conservation point. What's down here is extra. This is in addition to playing him as a Reef Dweller. So when you play, if you were to play another Reef Dweller, you would get this, but not this again. So that's explained in the rule books. I had to read it once or twice, but you pick up on it once you've seen it. So those are the two big things that come with just adding aquatic animals to the game, is the wave icon and then the Reef Dweller symbol. Now, you're not going to be able to fill up your zoo with Reef Dwellers because you can only have one large aquarium and one small aquarium in your zoo, and that's it. You can't just fill up your zoo with nothing but aquariums and be considered the Georgia Aquarium. So let's just real quick go through some of these other cards here because, you know, for some of you, this is what you came here for, is to see all the cool aquatic animals. And I'm sure zooplankton's on here. I'm sure that this doesn't even come close to all of the different aquatic animals that you could have. And then there's a whole bunch of, you know, these style cards. So there is some new, you know, like excavation site is pretty cool. It's this winding, twisting, you know, dinosaur bone thing that you can, I guess, play area. Horse whisperer. You know, so lots of different types of these cards. And then we have these guys as well that you're going to draw from the deck and add back in. So, all right, so that is all of the, essentially the sea animals, the aquatic animals part of the expansion that is really just adding more content to the game. Here we can see what the aquariums look like. So here's a large aquarium. There's, you know, 5 available spots to put different sizes of sea animals in there. And then here's the 2 size aquarium. So you can only have this much aquarium in your zoo, and they each have to be adjacent to water to even place them down. And then the animals that you play might have to also be next to rocks or something like that. So there's a lot of restrictions in where you can place these down, including the fact that you can only have 1 of each. And then there's some additional bonus tiles that you just mix in with the other ones and gives you more variety. This portion of the expansion is adding a new university. So they've actually given you a whole new administration board here, which you'll notice has a spot for a 4th university. So there is this single tile here. And if you look closely, you can see it's kind of duller than the rest. It has this kind of grayed out feature to it because this is not actually a university that you're going to put onto your board. When you set up the game, all of these tiles here that are like, I guess you could say, animal-specific universities will be sitting off to the side, and there's only 1 of each. Now, during your turn, if you choose to take the, you know, level 4 administration action and gain a university, if this token is still there, you can actually pull it off the board, set it off to the side, and swap it out, essentially, for any one of these of your choosing. Say you take sea animals, then that goes onto your board, and that's the only type of animal-specific university you can have on your board. You can still pick up these, if any of these, if you so choose, but this is the only one. It's also going to let you dig through the deck for a sea animal specifically, and then give you an additional icon and a research icon there. At the end of every round, or every break, sorry, this goes back onto the board. So that also means that only 1 person per round, we'll call it, between breaks, can pick up one of these universities, because unless that token is there for you to take over here and swap out, then you can't. You're gonna have to pick a different university or pick a different action. Hopefully that makes sense. But again, just adds a little bit more variety and focus to your game, and gives you a way to specifically search for a card type through the deck. Up next are going to be improved player components. So previously you had a lot of these kind of column-like pieces here, and then just a whole bunch of cubes. The column pieces were used on the main board to track your, you know, the various victory point tracks, and to see what level you were in the folder setup. So now what they've done is, in player color, just given you a unique shape here. So for example, these monkeys, and I'll show you where they would go in a little bit. These monkeys, there's 7 of them, just replace 7 of the cubes. So you could just pull out 7 cubes, and then you'll pull out each of these are then replaced by these little markers here. Where's the other ones? They're in here somewhere. Here's one. This one looks like a hat from the side, and then there's a fourth one. These just kind of remind you, certainly me, more of what track they are sitting on. So you can see they have some red cats, some blue fish, and some penguins, black penguins, to go along with the black player color here. And so if you have, I apologize, I keep them in a bag to try and keep them flat. Over here is where you would put, say, your 7 blue fish. So you're still using cubes to put out onto, say, your aquarium. If your aquarium is sitting here, that's not a good example. You're still putting cubes here to fill in and show how much of the aquarium has been filled up. But these over here that you take and move onto the conservation projects and then give you the bonuses for it, these are what you use your unique little player pieces for. So if I was playing as the blue player, I would put my fish like so. And then they're just going to end up on cards like these, like so. So that's all they're adding here. These are purely cosmetic upgrades for the game, but are a nice touch. I know that a lot of people were going out and purchasing, upgraded player pieces on Etsy and things like that. So as just a side note, don't ever throw away pieces like this. You never know when they might come in handy. That's just my personal opinion. I always like to hold on to them, stick them in the attic or the crawl space or something like that. Because again, you just never know. You never know when you might lose one of these pieces and need to replace it, or are wanting to create your own game and need some pieces for some testing or something like that. So I always hold on to all this stuff because it eventually sometimes comes in handy. All right, last but not least, this expansion is adding asymmetrical action cards. So in the previous game, everybody got the same set of action cards that could be upgraded onto the backside, and they have provided you with a new set of the base action cards. You can see that these are essentially the same thing here, but these are going to give you, they've added little symbols like this, which tells you like where you're going to be playing the animal cards from. In this case, you'd be playing them out of your hand. And so they basically just gave you a whole new set, and you can see it has have the little seahorse symbol that represents that it came from the Marine Worlds expansion. But for the most part, you can just get rid of these, I guess. Again, it's your choice whether you throw them away. But so everybody's going to start with the same animal cards, but then there's going to be a draft at the beginning of the game, and there is a whole new set of asymmetrical animal cards that are, sometimes just better versions on the backside, but are going to give you a little special power. That special power is highlighted up here in this silver circle in the upper left corner, and you can see they even come with new artwork. And at the beginning of the game, you're going to have a draft where each player is going to be able to acquire 2 upgraded action cards. And similar to Seven Wonders, where you're just kind of passing them around and choosing, you will again get to have a say to a degree of what 2 action cards. And so then if you were to upgrade, if you were to choose this card in the draft, you would take this card and you would put this one back in the box. You would still only have 1 of each type of action, but these upgrade cards, I feel like are going to be the most exciting part of this expansion, because they're just going to tweak just a little bit how you can go about and play, and there's going to be a lot of fun in experiencing each one and how they can improve your game and things like that. Again, there is a little bit more iconography that you're going to have to pick up on, but for the most part, I feel like this expansion could just be added into your base game and teach people including it. I don't think that it adds so much complexity here that you should keep it separated for teaching new players versus teaching veterans of the game, things like that. But this is essentially everything that the Marine Worlds expansion has offered. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. I will be doing a playthrough at some point, a solo playthrough, probably just using the the standard core rules for solo, which is essentially a timer. I haven't gotten around to printing out the updated Arno cards yet that they've come out with, so we'll stick with the old standard. But that'll be coming soon on the channel, so you guys can see some of these cards in action. And once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.